The title's held up this week, no time, no disqualification, and the Rockers will be going against Rick Morton and Robert Gibson, and it will be a return to see who's going to walk out of there as the AWA World Tag Champions. Significant, the Rockers will not walk in as the champions this week. The title's held up. So that will make some considerable difference in strategy, and we'll be interested in seeing that. Just to review it, I want to go back to the conclusion of last week's bout between the Rockers and the Rock and Roll Express. Now, you will watch carefully and note that there will be a double pin in this one. Referee Jerry Calhoun counting one. He was the referee assigned to the match. And on the other side of the ring, it was Frank Morrell who was making the other count. Let's take a look at the highlights of how it finished. Both of their heads together, grabs Jannetty, but Michaels goes right back after Ricky Morton. Referee now over trying to back up Gibson and Jannetty while Michaels working on Ricky Morton. Referee jumped down on the canvas. We're 15 minutes in. Look at this. A cover. One, double cover. Two, three. There were two pins and two counts. I don't know how it's going to go. Oh, boy, your guess is as good as mine on this. A double count. Another referee says other one, hold the belt up, there's no way. Yeah, well, that's exactly the way it ended. Eddie Marlin said we are going to hold up the titles in there, and with good reason, too. Calhoun, as a matter of fact, who was the referee assigned in there, was, in fact, counting out the wrong pair in there. The confusion was so great. Let's take a listen now to see what Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty have to say about the return Rock and Roll Summit. Here they are.
You know, first of all, where do you people get off telling the Midnight Rockers that you're holding up the championship? You should ask us. You know, tell us that you think there's a dispute, there's a little problem there. Don't come treating us like the average fan out there in Memphis, because we are the best in wrestling. And last Monday night, I heard the Rock and Roll Express saying, you guys are the king of wrestling. You are the real rock and roll. And they were down and begging us to leave them alone as we were beating them up. But no, here comes a referee out of the back, and he counts 1, 2, 3, counts us out, and we have to have the belt held up. Well, I tell you what, Rock and Roll Extravaganza Monday night, we're going to take care of business, right?
That's right. You know, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Midnight Rockers are the future of professional wrestling. You guys were great in your day, but your day is long since gone. You are the wrestling past. The Midnight Rockers are today and tomorrow. The Midnight Rockers are rightfully the AWA World Tag Team Champions. And next Monday night, we're not going to leave any doubt in anybody's mind, but we're going to make sure all the people hear you when you're begging off from the Midnight Rockers. I'll tell you what, you heard it as well as I did. Morton was down there just begging us to let him go. Well, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express. The Express is going to be derailed when the Midnight Rockers come to town, because we're coming to Memphis for our World Tag Team titles.
That's right, baby.
No time, no disqualification. The Rock and Roll Express had some comments to make about the match also.
Well, the Midnight Rockers, yes, that's one thing about it. You are a tough team. But you found out what it's like to be around a big league, didn't you, boys? You found out what it's all about. But let me tell you something about the Rock and Roll Express. A lot of teams said, a lot of people put us down, said, you'll never make it, brother. You're never going to make it, Rock and Roll Express, because they're better tag teams. You're too small. But let me tell you something about the Rock and Roll Express. We went from the back seat of our cars to the high Regency, brother. You know why? Because somebody said we couldn't do it. Just like you, Midnight Rockers, you said we couldn't beat you, and one thing we did, brother, because you said that we couldn't. But let me tell you, it's all going to be over with. The belts are held up. They're held up, but we beat you 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring. We've been down a lot of tough and hard roads, brother. But every hour we took led us right here to the champions, to the top of the pole, brother. And no way that you're going to knock us out of it. Memphis, Tennessee is our backyard, brother. That's where we started out. The people here first watched the Rock and Roll Express, laced their boots up and climbed into the ring. And, brother, from there, they went to be World Tag Team Champions 4 times. But now it's going to be a fifth time, brother, because you can say goodbye to the AWA World Tag Team titles because they belong to the Rock and Roll Express. And the funny thing about it is, woo, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it.